Now, this is really not one of those design classes where you just get to dive in straight into practical artist wear. For me, I really okay. We all know that it's important that a foundation of a building is well made. For example, in the US, they would not bring down a building because the roof is about going off. They will not bring down a building because there's a little crack in the walls. They would definitely bring down the building if there's a little crack, just a little crack in the foundation. So I really would want us to get the foundation right. That's like the most important. And what's the foundation? It's what I call design theory right there. So yeah, I've been designing for the past let's say 4 years now. I've been designing professionally, not coupled with my school days. So these are a few of my logo designs, a handful, just a few. I just randomly picked them. This was one I did for so sorry about that. This was some of my other designs, just a bit random. I just had to just bring in some random stuff in here so we could just see. So of course you're not just it's not a case where you're learning from someone who doesn't know what it's all about. I mean, I can say that I know what I'm doing. So yeah, this is just a few of my illustrations also. So I like doing a bit of it's called mixed media. So that's what I like just doing. It's just nothing serious, just having fun really. So this is just a few of my designs right here. So illustrations, yeah, this was just a fun project that I had to do with avocado pear. Really a fun project for me. It was a really nice time. Okay, so now let's dive into the real business of today. What the heck is graphic design? What the heck is graphic design? All right. I know for some of us, we already have like a bit of an idea. For those who are intermediate designers already, you already have like a fair knowledge, as it were. You already have like a brush up understanding of what design and graphic is all about, and that's fine. If you're like a beginner, this is most important for you. But still, if you are an intermediate, the reason why you are here is because you want to improve your skill, right? So maybe my best guess, it could be a case where you had like the foundation wasn't laid properly. There's some things that you weren't expressly told, because from my past experiences and my discussions with a lot of past designers, they have issues with some basic, when I mean the term basic, some basic knowledge of design. They don't have it. Why? Because the theoretical aspect of design wasn't well spelled out for them. So I'm just going to go straight into now. Design is any form. It has to be a form. It's any form, ultimately an exercise in visual communication. Now, for me, I would just term graphic design as graphic is just taking text, taking images. Now it's how you relate. It's communication. It's solving problems. Graphic is your information. Graphic is what you want the person who's looking at it to understand. You understand? Because you're definitely passing an information. Now that's what graphic is all about. Now what's the visual context of that design that I'm trying to, of that information that I'm trying to pass on to them? That's what graphic design. And now I'll really just have to say that for everything that we do everything that has to do with human made, for everything that is not nature, as it were. Now birds are not nature. That you cannot create birds. You cannot create, of course you can create birds in animation and stuff like that, but yeah, you cannot create birds in real time. For everything that is not made by nature is designed by someone. Now this course, you're thinking, oh yeah, I want to be a graphic designer. Oh yeah, there's in design there's a whole whole sea of other things that you can do. You can become animators. You can become an animator. Sorry, you can become a car designer. You can become a product designer. You can become an illustrator. You can become a whole lot of things. Now, I mean, who creates the pack of Indomie that you see? Who created the your charger? Who created everything? I mean, every decision we make in life, someone designed it. Someone designed the clothes that you wear. Of course, we all know that. So that's what design is all about, as it were. Designing, we all need to understand design is solving a problem. If, for instance, someone has a need, okay, someone comes to you, oh, okay, can you design a flyer for me? They have a problem, they had a desire, there's a need to be met. Now there's what we call simplicity. Now we all know that less is more, like from everyone, that everyone says that less is more, and of course that's truly less is actually more. Now simple designs are, for me, of course I'm going to talk about myself. I am a minimalist. Now what that means is I use less of colors. I use less of attributes, less of designs. I don't like complex design. This is exactly what I mean by complex design. You see the whole thing going around here, just creating that feel of complexity. And of course, yeah, it's fine. Everyone had their style of designs and stuff. It's important to note that you just, as you go, you develop your own style of design. Now, design in a nutshell is content, form, type. Again, graphic design is information. Graphic is information, and design is aesthetics. I'll say that again. Graphic is information, and design is aesthetic. Marry that together, you have graphic design. If you're not passing an information, that's graphic. If you're not passing an information, it might seem like, okay, what's this about? There's sometimes that you look at some things that people have designed, and like, what is this designer talking about? You understand why? Because the information is not properly defined. Or secondly, the design is not appealing, so you are confused. What's this guy talking about? Yeah. So that's basically what design is all about. So now we're going to go straight into the fundamentals of design. Now, what are the fundamentals of design? This is like a very a strict beginner class for us to really understand what design is all about, like I said earlier. So this is the fundamentals of design. This is what you call line. This is your shape, this is your form, this is your texture, and this is your balance. This right here is balance. It's called balance. These are the 5 fundamentals of design. Now let's moving on. Now your line. Now you have your straight line, you have your jagged line. I mean, of course, we know what lines are. Lines are they are connecting one point to the other point. They are either jagged. Now what I mean by jagged, this is what it means by jagged. This is a straight, this is a thick line, and this is curve. These are curved lines. So I mean, these are the fundamentals of design. You have to understand this. Now, in most times you use them for decoration, to use them to organize your work, so that it seems like, yeah, a human being actually did these designs. Of course, I'm going to show you whilst we move on, I'm going to show you some designs that I think not humans actually designed them anyway. But yeah, this is one of the fundamentals. Line, take note of that. Line is one of the fundamentals of design. Now, your shape is a very, very key aspect of design. It's so key for you to understand what your shapes are. And from elementary class, we talked about your geometric shapes and your organic shapes. Now, your geometric shapes are your circles, your star, your square, your triangles and everything. And then your organic shapes, they are irregular. They're irregular shapes. As you see the heart shape right here, you see the heart shapes right here, you see the apple shape. I know we all love apples. If you love apple, just wave. Anyway, these are basic. Now, I know that we all understand what shapes are, but how does shape relate to design, right? All right, we'll come in there. Now, you see what it is. Now, you can see a circle. Your circle makes your design for the wheels of a bicycle. Now, this is what it is. You see how your shape form that little piece of design every time you want to put your design together. There is a shape that it forms one way or the other, whether you're seeing it or you're not seeing it, whether the person who is visually looking at it from a distance is seeing it or not. There is a shape, and there is the idea of shape in it. So your next is form. Now form is just basically, I call form illusion, because that's what form is. Form, graphic design is basically 2D. So but then you want your viewer, you want the person who's looking at it to believe that it's a 3D. And now three dimension, it means that it has like there's a depth, there's a depth in it. What's 3D design? What's 3D design again? Let me say that now. Three-dimensional designs are anything that has form, something that you can touch, something that you can feel. You understand? From elementary class, that's what it means. I'm just going to go the elementary way. But yeah, again, I'll say that form is basically illusion. We're trying to tell our audience, we're trying to tell people who are looking at the designs that a certain design has what's it called, has form. For example, this doesn't have, it's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. This is just the darkest point. This is a midpoint. This is the lightest point in this design. So basically, we're just trying to tell them that, okay, yeah, there's depth right here. This is your darkest point. You understand? This is the midpoint. This is your darkest point. This is your shadow cast. You understand? It's just an illusion. That's what form is. And for every design, it comes to a point where you need forms to reiterate your points. So this class is going to be for the next 30 minutes. So I'm going to give room for questions and everything. So yeah, basically this is form. Again, this is just trying to tell you that, okay, knife can pierce into the heart. Of course, this is not it's not true. This is what you call 2D design. It's flat. But yeah, no, in design we always want our viewer to understand or to have that impression that it is 3D. You understand? So if you can see here again, it's just you shadow cast your everything just to point that idea that it's 3D. Now let's go to texture. Texture also, it's also a form of illusion also, because this is just like berries, and then this is a hand trying to touch it. But yeah, you cannot touch it. There's sometimes that you see some designs. Haven't you seen some designs and then you're trying to touch it? I can't touch it. It is screen, right? Now that's the idea of texture. That's the idea of texture, is using lights, perspectives, shadow cast to create that illusion in the person's mind. Now it's just playing with people's mind actually. So let's move on. This is a bit of texture that we sometimes encounter in designs. Now balance, this is most important. I see a lot of designs, sometimes they lack that basic balance, that basic symmetric or asymmetric balance in the things. Balance has to do with a lot of things, like your color, your size, your number of things, the negative space. I mean, we're going to go into a lot of details, and yeah, it's just to create that real balance in whatever you're going to design. And as you can see, there is just a balanced flow, because if you look at this, the space here and the space here is actually the same. So now I'm creating that balance, that visual aesthetics. You're seeing it, and the space here and here is the same. This white space, this is called white space, it's the same. Now I'm creating that balance for you to actually understand. Now design has to do with balance. A lot has to do with balance. So moving on. This is what an imbalanced stuff is all about. You're just throwing stuff there, you throw in colors. No, it has to be balanced. It has to be visually understanding in some sense. So let's moving on. Now, another aspect of balance is the rule of third. Now, a lot of people who have fair knowledge in photography, they already understand what a rule of third is. Now, a rule of third is basically this. Now, you don't throw this thing here. because you want this other space to just people to have this freedom. You know, when there's a white space, the eyes definitely just focuses on this. That's the focal point. The eyes just by default, that's how man is created, to focus on what's important. You understand? So there's a white space here. You're not looking at white space because it's empty, right? You're focusing what's important. Now that's what basically a rule of third is. Now in a nutshell, the big picture is your shape. Now this is your shape. This is your shape right here. Now this is your form. Now creating an illusion of shadow cast. Now this is your balance. Having that space, having that being centralized. Now your texture. This right here is your texture. This is your line. Being in balance, being in total alignment with your design. Now let's go straight into the principles of design. Like I said, for those of us who are just coming in, this is like an introductory class for the beginners. Like from the demography, a lot of people who opt in for this class are like beginners. So this is what you really need to know. Now let's go straight into your principles of design. Now the fundamentals of design again. Let's quickly run down for those who are just coming in. Sadly, we'll just go back again. Your fundamentals of design are: one, your line, your shape, your form, your texture, and your balance. Your balance. That's the fundamentals of design. The fundamentals. Let that stick. Just get your notes and just jot that down. I'm not going to go back because you came late. I'm not going to go back. So let's move on to principles of design. One of the major principles of design is contrast. Now, contrast is how your foreground, how you play with your tone, how you play with your color, because you cannot, in contrast, you cannot put a white background and then you have a white text, or you have something that's fighting with your design. No, it has to be balanced. Let me just quickly show a bit of example for us. This is a good balance, you understand? So you have right here, this is a good balance. You have this light background, and then you have this a bit of dark and a bit of color that actually contrasts perfectly. And then you have this light cup right here, and then you have like the dark background. Now this is what I call a typical bad contrast. Having blue text and a red background, this is an error. If you have been doing this as an intermediate designer, you have been doing this is so wrong. Never you do this. Never you do this. These are like no. Now contrast is so important. It has to contrast. It has to be a way where there is a flow, because of course you tell dark people not to wear we're telling a lot of people, sorry about that, you're telling a lot of people not to you're telling black people not to wear dark things because it makes them look dark apparently, right? So you need, as a dark skinned person, you wear something that's a bit light so your skin can come out, your skin colors can come out. So that's what contrast is all about, basically. So now let's go to straight repetition. I'm just going to rush the class because we're almost out of time for this session. I'm really not just going to take a lot of time. Now repetition, it has to be repetitive. Now, repetition is simply repeating a single element many times in a design. For example, you could draw a line horizontally and then draw several others next to it. That's simply repetition. Now, you put a certain color. You don't throw in so many colors. You put a certain color. If you put in blue, let blue at least repeat itself in a design. That's creating repetition. You put in circles. For example, you put in these circles. There's my tone. Sorry about that. Oops. For example, you put in your circles. These are your circles. These are your circles. These are your circles. These are your circles. Now you're repeating it. Why? Because you want to create that sense of repetition. Because repetition is a very key principle of design. It has to be repetitive. Look at what this designer did right here. There's a pizza. It's a pizza menu, for example. He's just repeating it so that you understand that to create that unity of creation. It has to be repetitive. It has to be repeated. That's the second principle. Now the third principle is proximity. Now proximity is so important. You put things that are close together. You put things that are related together, so that at least persons can understand. You understand? They need to understand that those things are related. You don't take a ball, for example. You don't take a circle and then you put in a design where you're having circles, for example. Now this design has to the focal point of this design is circle. Now she doesn't put a circle here and then come here and put a what's it called a square. Now that's and then come right here and put a triangle again. That's like a scattered design. Now in design, it has to be uniform. It has to make sense, really. So of course, you see what the designer does here. This is like a triangle, right? This is a triangle. Of course, this is like an illusion again. You see what we're talking about, form, yeah? It feels like the pizza, it's coming out into your face and then you want to have it. But yeah, that's illusion. That's illusion. Now, proximity is so important for us to understand proximity. Now, this is just a basic class so that whilst we're moving forward, you can really understand what design is all about. Now, proximity, again, this is just a scattered design. But yeah, you bring them together because they are related. You bring them together because they are related. Now, these are related colors and circles. Now, this is also like a bad. This is bad for someone to do. You never do this. Never do this. But you can do this. Why? Because they are related. They have the same color. They feel, you're looking at it, it feels good to you, right? I know. Now, alignment, this is so important. Now, already some of us have like a basic knowledge of alignment. You have like your left alignment, you have like a center alignment, and then you have like your left and your right alignment. I'm not going to spend time on this. This is like elementary, because we all know that we need to align your designs. Now, let's look at bad designs. Of course, if you are given this design and say, okay, come and buy, will you buy? You will not buy, of course. You will not buy this kind of chair. Why will you buy this chair? You will definitely fall in love with this. Why? Because it is well played out. It is well played out. It is simple, and the information. Again, I tell you, graphic design is simple. Graphic is information and design is aesthetics. Get that, write that down and never forget it. Never forget it. A lot of designers would not tell you this, but I'm telling you this, right? Graphic is information. Information. I say it again. Design is aesthetics. Now, the information is we are selling chairs. Now, I put a very nice chair here. Like you just want to come into this chair and fall in and, watch movie or something. You understand? That is what design. It is visually appealing to your eyes. That's what aesthetics is all about. This is so poorly done. Nobody is going to buy. If you're putting out this kind of design, nobody is going to, you're not going to get, if you want to be a designer, you're never going to get paid. If you're selling stuff online and then you put a design like this, nobody is going to buy. Only a person that thinks like you would buy anyway. All right, this is also poor design. This is just me telling you that this is poor design. Of course, why will you use so many colors? I can see yellow here, I can see blue, I can see black. So much color. This is so wrong of a design. This is what design is all about. This is what design is all about. Simplicity. Of course, I like simplicity. It pays off the most. Simple designs that really tell us the whole story, that really just give us the feeling of great pleasure. You understand? This is information. You understand? And this is the graphic, the visual sense of it. I can just see two or three colors here. You understand? Of course, again, your graphic, which is your information, and then the aesthetics that makes it beautiful. Ooh, I know a lot of you want to start designing, right? You just want to start designing already. All right, you just hold on a bit. Now, so that's the class for today. That's the class for today. I'm just going to do a recap. I already spent 35 minutes. I'm just going to do a recap of what we talked about. So these are a few of my designs. I don't know if you're just coming now, you're on a long thing, you've been sleeping on bicycle. There's a few of my designs. Again, I talked about what the heck is design, told us what graphic is all about. That also I said that everything that has been designed or everything that is not nature was designed by someone. And who is that someone? You, in the nearest future. You understand? Simplicity, I talked about complexity, I talk about fundamentals of design, which is line, shape, form, texture, and balance. Bam, 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 bam. Now, the rule of third is, it is one of the, a lot of times video directors and video editors use it a lot, and photographers use it a lot. Why? Because you want, that's like the focal point. Now, there is always, in design, there is always a focal point. Let me show you something from some of the examples that we have. Now, in everything that is here, everything that is here, everything that is here, there's a focal point. For instance, right here, there's a focal point. What's the focal point? This pizza. That's the most important thing, right? So now let me show you again another rule of thoughts. Okay, look at talking about bad designs again. They are awful to your eyes. Now the rule of thought. What's the rule of thought now? There's the white space. This white space. You're creating that idea that this is the focal point. First of all, when you look at this flyer, the first thing that comes to your heart or that comes to your eyes is this lady right here. How excited is she to grow her business? Now that's the idea that you're putting to the viewer, that this lady is so excited to grow her business. Now when someone sees this flyer, right? For instance, you design this for your client. You design a flyer like this for your client. When someone sees this and you're like, wow, okay, yeah, I want to grow my business, the next thing they're looking for the information. Now, design, again, like I said, it is graphic, which is information and aesthetics. And design is aesthetics. Design, it is how visually appealing that design is. Now, there's just a very certain subtle feel of this. Now, this is the focal point, but this is the information. You get this right here is just the aesthetic. This is the information. Do you get this right here? This right here again is just where your eyes will just hit at first. So now you have to create that space for where the eyes will hit first, and then you create less distractions at the other place that are informative. That's what basically it's all about. Fundamentals, and then from then on we'll pick it up. So I'm just going to end the class now. So class is over. See you by 12. See you by 1 tomorrow. Please, let's try to be on time. I'm going to share the video. I'm going to share my slides with us so that we go through and then by tomorrow we kick off with a bang. Thank you so much. I really love having you guys here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.